What's up guys, Steven here, welcome back to another video. So last week I visited Balázs and David from TechVideo in Hungary in Budapest, and I had the opportunity to check out the Honor V20 and the LG V40 ThinQ. So I compared both devices because I think both devices are some really hot smartphones right now, and today in this video we will talk about the pros and cons of each device. So let's go. So let's start with the V20. The Honor V20 is one really fancy looking device with a super nice looking back cover, and due to the use of the Magic Eye full screen, the Honor V20's front panel is more, let's say, even than the previous notch screen design. The screen board is also relatively narrow and only the chin is slightly wider, but it does not affect the overall look. It has two rear cameras, but the second one is a TOF, also called time of flight 3D camera, rather than the one that adds a zoomed or wide-angle view. So this is nothing like the Huawei Mate 20 Pro or the P20 Pro, even though it looks similar. So you can shoot 2x zoom images, but the very high resolution 48 megapixel Sony sensor is used here for a crop, not a lens with a 2x view. The secondary camera is used for depth information in photos and for AR apps and games. So I'm not really into AR at all, and I do believe that this may be a thing in the future, but right now I'm not using it. Now the LG V40 ThinQ instead is using a more conventional approach in terms of the design. It feels actually incredibly well with a notch on the front and a very basic rear side with a triple camera. From left to the right you will find a telephoto, ultra-wide and a normal lens. LG likes to call them 2x zoom telephoto, super wide angle and standard angle, which gives you way more options on taking pictures than the Honor V20. The notch also houses two front-facing cameras, which let you switch between normal and wide angle mode, and it's really convenient because the Honor V20 only has a single one that's not that wide and has no autofocus. So the Honor V20 has a 6.4 inch screen with a 1080x2310 resolution. It's an LCD rather than an OLED, and LG has thrown in a 6.4 inch QHD full vision OLED. It's 19.5:9 aspect ratio with a notch, and both have HDR support. Typically for an LCD there is more brightness reduction at an angle than on an OLED, like on the LG V40, and contrast isn't as good either. However, the V20 screen is easily good enough considering the price, and there is no obvious shortfall compared to any phone when used normally. As the flagship phone, the Honor V20 is equipped with the most powerful processor of the current Kirin family. The Kirin 980 is the world's first built-in dual MPU flagship processor, and on the paper and in the benchmarks, the Kirin 980 rocks the battle. But it's worth mentioning that the processor of 7nm process technology is definitely better than the Snapdragon 845 of 10nm process technology. And the Snapdragon 845 is way older and will be replaced soon by the 855, and then I think the Kirin 980 will have a hard time. So both chips are great choices and you won't experience any lags in most games or apps. So if you like expandable storage, then the LG V40 is a good option as it comes with a microSD slot but only 64GB of ROM, while the V20 offers two options with 6 or 8GB and 128 or 256GB of onboard storage. The V20 has Huawei's great 4000 mAh battery with the 22.5 Huawei supercharger. The adapter charges the phone from a dead battery to 60% in around 30 minutes and reaches over 90% in 1 hour. The V40 ThinQ is equipped with a 3300 mAh battery, which is on the small side for this class and screen size, and takes also almost 2 hours to charge. So in terms of battery performance, the V20 is blowing the V40 away. The Honor V20 has a standard bottom firing single speaker that can get loud enough, while the V40 ThinQ has a kind of weird loudspeaker setup. There's a primary loudspeaker on the bottom, but the earpiece also gives off some sound, although it's not as loud and not really stereo. But where the V40 clearly wins is the headphone output. Enabling the quad DAC option makes the output really loud while retaining the flawless output, so you can use studio headphones with it and it sounds amazing. Using the Honor V20 felt really comfortable because it's the same UI as Huawei and my daily driver is the Mate 20 Pro. However, I really like the LG V40 menu and the overall smoothness. The UI feels so damn amazing fast that the View 20, even though it has the better specs on the paper, feels a bit dated. Maybe that's because the V40 boots Android 8.1 Oreo with LG's in-house launcher on top, while the Honor View 20 comes with Android Pie out of the box and it's layered with the newly rebranded Magic UI 2.0, which was formerly EMUI and Emotion UI before that. So when it comes to the camera performance, also both are very different. For me, videos are really important, and the Honor View 20 video settings are really limited. So you can choose between 720p, 1080, 1080-60 and 2160, but you can't disable EIS, and also there is no 4K 60. On the V40, the mode icon gives you access to the V40's powerful manual mode for both stills and video, and this really feels like using a DSLR camera. Also, it's really a shame that the Kirin 980 isn't capable of recording 60 frames per second in 4K, and this feels really super smooth on the V40. When it comes to raw image quality, I would say that the 48 megapixel sensor is really powerful, and for single shots, it features incredible detail. However, having so many options on the V40 is for me much more important and more versatile than having only one killer sensor camera. Now, selfies have never been super good on LG. And just because there are two front-facing cameras, it doesn't mean that has changed dramatically. Photos from both cameras turn out to be pretty noisy and grainy. The 25 megapixel front-facing camera on the Honor shoots pretty sharp selfies. But since it doesn't feature an autofocus, you have to keep in mind that there is a focus sweet spot where it's the best position to your face, and it's about half or a full arm length away from your face. So for raw quality, the View 20 is good. But having a lot of versatile camera options, the V40 wins here. And for videos, they have been shit on every Huawei smartphone so far, but at least they have been improved over the years. Alrighty guys, so we're now here at the end of this video, and I quickly want to give you my personal feedback and opinion on both devices, starting with the Honor View 20. So as you guys know, Honor is a subsidiary of Huawei, and most of you guys think I'm actually a Huawei fanboy because my daily driver is the Mate 20 Pro. I also own a bunch of other Huawei smartphones like the Huawei P Smart 2019, review will also come very soon, but I just like Huawei for a reason, and they have pretty good quality, reasonable prices. Now the Mate 20 Pro a bit overpriced, but it's really a good smartphone. Now when it comes to Honor, sometimes, well, it's a really good device, I like it, sometimes not so much. The Honor View 20, don't get me wrong, it's a good looking device, and I think they did a lot of things right, but they also did a lot of things wrong. And I think the camera, to be honest, on such a smartphone I expected like something like the triple camera from the P20 Pro, because it's now 1 year later almost, so yeah, throw it in an Honor smartphone. Nope. They did that AI camera. Now it's pretty good, it has a big sensor and you can get some really good looking pictures, but it's not that versatile. You don't have a zoom lens, just a crop on that big sensor, so you're losing the megapixels again. For portraits this really sucks. Then also you don't have a wide angle lens, and this is something I really love on the Mate 20 Pro. So from the camera perspective, well, I'm not such a big fan of the Honor View 20. Front-facing camera is pretty good, to be honest. Now when it comes to battery life, the Honor View 20 is great, and that's something I love about every Huawei smartphone, except of the cheap ones. And this is the big battery with super fast charging and also a really good and long battery life. So with the Mate 20 Pro, really I just charged my device once, and on Samsung devices I charged my device sometimes after a year like 2 or 3 times, which actually really sucks. Okay, the next thing is the design. Now, to be honest, the design is a little bit too much for me, but it looks pretty cool at the first look, and I really like that exclusive look. What I really liked about the Honor View 20 was the punch hole design, because this makes the display look really good. So it's an LCD, not an OLED, and the display itself, it's good, but it's not perfect. Then now, let's talk about the LG V40. So the LG G6 back in the days, it was a fantastic device. I really loved it. I loved the design, the wide angle camera, which was not that mainstream at that time. And yeah, it was a pretty good smartphone. Then there was the LG V30. I also really loved it because of the video options and everything. And now the LG V40. Actually, I really like this device. So it was released, I think, a few months ago, but it was only released 2 weeks ago in Germany. So Germany is the neighbor country to Austria, my home country, and I asked LG, when will you release it in Austria? And they said, we don't release it in Austria, so the phone is not released here at all. And yeah, we're based in Europe and Germany has it, Austria not, which is just a little bit retarded, but anyway. Despite of marketing failures at LG, they make actually some pretty good smartphones. Now the LG V40, it's very lightweight. I actually like the design. It's very simple. It's probably lightweight because of the small battery, but we come to that in a moment. I really like the camera options. It's very versatile. So you have that narrow lens, you have the zoom lens, and you also have the wide angle lens, which gives you a lot of options to take pictures. Now the front-facing cameras, they are not that good at all, as you've seen. I mean, it's a pretty nice attempt to have two front-facing cameras, but actually, to be honest, both of them are shit. But the rear cameras are pretty cool, a lot of options in the camera settings. So basically with the LG V40 you gain control over everything on the camera, from video to normal manual for stills. It's just really cool. I really wish that Huawei would a little bit more than LG. Also in video mode you have 4K 60, which you don't have on the Honor View 20, so this is also something which is really good for me. And videos, well, it's just also really cool that you have that wide angle lens, just in case if you want to shoot a video with the wide angle lens, which you also can't on the Honor View 20. Anyways, plenty of camera options on the LG, which I think is pretty cool. When it comes to audio quality, the LG V40 just sounds amazing. So you can just plug in your studio headphones and it sounds really perfect. So probably if you're into listening to music over your smartphone and you're a very audiophile person, you will love the LG V40, so that's absolutely great. But there are also some cons, like as I've told you, the battery. It's 3300 mAh and the battery life is also not really good. So also fast charging takes quite a while and I think LG could do better. So yeah, bigger battery, a little bit just, and this device would actually be something which I could use as my daily driver. Something I really love about my Mate 20 Pro is just the amazing battery life, and this is why I use that smartphone, and also the camera. And well, the rest, I mean, it's a smartphone like any other smartphone, but camera and battery on the Mate 20 Pro is just super awesome. Yeah, and as I've told you before, the second thing which I don't like on the LG V40 is the front-facing camera, which is okay, but I know LG, you can do better. So yeah, please for the next smartphone, get your shit together, fix the cameras and release it in my country. Anyways, both are really cool smartphones. I really liked having a look at them. Unfortunately, I wasn't invited at the event in Paris and the launch event in Germany, but thanks to Balash, I could still have a look at the smartphones. And yeah, there will be some more collabs in the future with cars and everything, so stay tuned. And big thanks for watching until this point here. And yeah, as always guys, I'm Steven from TechMagnet and I'll catch you in the next one. And don't forget to write a comment down below what you think about the smartphones. But now, have a nice day and see you in the next one. Bye.